What would you do if you saw, with your own eyes, a 2,700-year-old prophecy being fulfilled before your very eyes? Because it is happening now, and almost no one is paying attention. At Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, entire families are disembarking in excitement, kissing the ground, raising their eyes to the sky. This is not tourism. This is not ordinary migration. This is the prophetic return of a people who were scattered to the four corners of the earth and are now returning. This movement is not political. It is not just cultural. It is spiritual. The Bible said this time would come. And it did. I will bring you back from the nations. Ezekiel 37:21. What seemed impossible for centuries is now happening before the cameras and eyes of the world. But many remain distracted, more concerned with TikTok trends than with the signs of the times. They fail to realize that God is writing, today, the final lines of an ancient promise. A silent return, but loaded with prophetic weight. A reunion that echoes in heaven. What does this mean? Why now? And what comes next? The tribe of Manasseh, thought lost for centuries, has begun to return. Ethiopians, Indians, French, Americans. They come from all sides, and each face that steps off a plane represents not just a life, but the literal fulfillment of the word. It is impossible to watch this and not wonder, what if time really is running out? If God is calling his children back, could it be that the Father is also at the door? It's not theory, it's reality. In 2021, from France alone, more than 6,000 Jews decided to return to Israel. Not because of fashion, but because of fear. Anti-Semitism, persecution, wars. The world is becoming hostile, and the people of the promise know. The only safe place is the place where the promise began. Every plane that lands is a new page turned. Every home rebuilt is a trumpet sounding in the heavens, but most remain blind, spiritually asleep, laughing at the Bible, mocking faith, ignoring what is before their eyes. The return of the Jews to Israel is not a detail. It is God's prophetic clock counting down. And every minute lost can be an eternity compromised. The question is no longer when, but why are so few waking up? The return has begun. What about you? Have you begun your return to God? It all started with one man, in a distant land, with no map, no security. Just one voice. Leave your country, and go to the place that I will show you. That is how God called Abraham. And there began not only a journey but an eternal promise. This promise has crossed generations, deserts, empires, and persecutions. And even after centuries of silence, it still pulses. It still lives. It still comes true. The history of Israel is marked by blood and miracles. Egypt imprisoned them. Babylon exiled them. Rome scattered them. Europe tried to exterminate them. But in each captivity, there was a seed of return. In each tear, a hope was kept. In each attempt to erase them, God replied, I have not forgotten my people. And the world, even today, cannot understand how a people without land, without an army, without allies, returned. The Holocaust was rock bottom. 6 million Jews were killed. Children, women, the elderly. And yet, from the rubble of the concentration camps, God raised a new chapter. In 1948, against all odds, Israel was reborn as a nation. It wasn't luck. It was purpose. It was prophecy. It was the literal fulfillment of Ezekiel's words. The dry bones will live again. The story didn't end there. It just started over again. The world witnessed something unprecedented. Millions of Jews, from all continents, returning to their land. Not by coincidence, but by calling. By divine answer. Covert operations like Wings of a Dove took thousands of Jews out of Ethiopia, people who had never even seen an airplane. But they knew. The time of the promise had come. This return is not romantic. It is real, full of difficulties, of pain, of resistance, but they keep coming back. Because there is something greater guiding their steps, a force that no UN, no government, no hatred can stop. The power of the Word of God, alive, active, infallible. What you are seeing in the news is not politics. It is spiritual. It is God saying, I am fulfilling what I promised. And if He accomplished that, what else is He about to accomplish? For centuries this number was a mystery, a code, a misinterpreted prophecy. But the Bible is clear, 44,000 sealed, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. It is not symbolic, it is literal, and the separation has already begun. This number does not represent just Jews, it represents a mission, a prophetic army for the last days. And while the world laughs, mocking the end of the world, God is already recruiting His own. Revelation 7:4 leaves no room for spiritual interpretation. The names of the tribes are there, one by one. God is not playing with metaphors. He is gathering those who will be His messengers during earth's darkest time, the tribulation. They will proclaim the truth while chaos reigns. They will be the last chance for many, and they are being awakened now. The physical return to Israel is just the beginning. The next step is spiritual. God is restoring identity, purpose, destiny. With each tribe recovered, with each Jew returned, the plan moves closer to its climax. The sealed will be trained, separated, used, and in the meantime, the eyes of the world remain blindfolded. They would rather believe in algorithms than in prophecies. The 144,000 will not appear out of thin air. They are being prepared right now. And as the flights land in Tel Aviv, the skies move in silence. The prophetic clocks are synchronized. The field is ready. It is not long before the harvest. And when that harvest begins, it will be too late for many. After everything Israel has been through, after centuries of rejection, persecution, and even to deny the Messiah Himself, God still calls them His people. Does that ring a bell? Because if God didn't break His covenant with Israel even after all that, then He didn't break up with you either. This is more than a biblical story. It is a message of hope, a revelation about who God is. Romans 11:29 says that God's gifts and calling are irrevocable. He does not give up. He does not forget. He does not change. The return of the Jews to their land is more than prophecy. It is a reminder to us all. God fulfills what He promises, even if it takes centuries. Even if the world says it's impossible. Even if everything seems destroyed. He fulfills it. If He is fulfilling the promises He made to Abraham, imagine what He will still do for you, for your house, for your calling. Time does not erase God's faithfulness. The unbelief of the world does not erase the sovereignty of heaven. The planes that land in Israel are living warnings. God is still writing history, and you can still be a part of it. The truth is that the clock is ticking, and the restoration of Israel is the final wake-up call. Jesus' return is closer than ever. The 144,000 are being sealed. Prophecies are being fulfilled. And God is calling now. Not tomorrow, today. It's not time to watch. It's time to wake up, because when the last trumpet sounds, there will be no time to pack your bags. The call has been made. The signs are there, and the decision is in your hands. Are you ready to go back, or will you be left behind? While the news reports wars, inflation, and artificial intelligence, God is silently writing history. The return of the Jews is not a headline. It is an ignored miracle. But for those with spiritual eyes, every step taken towards Jerusalem is a trumpet from heaven sounding. The world closes its eyes, but God opens the heavens. The stage is being set for the greatest event in history, the return of Christ. And almost no one notices. Ezekiel saw dry bones come back to life. Today, these bones have names, passports, children, and a home in Israel. They are not characters in a fable. They are real people delivering on real promises. While many mock the Scriptures, God continues to prove that His word does not fail. The return of each tribe is further proof that the end is near. Very near. The rabbis know. So do the most attentive pastors. Even secular leaders are suspicious. There is something strange in the air. A kind of global unrest. Wars, earthquakes, pandemics, spiritual crises. The heart of the earth is beating faster. And God is warning, get ready. My plan is coming to fruition. But who is listening? In the past, the Pharisees had the prophecies, but they ignored the Messiah. Today, many have the Bible, but they ignore the signs. History repeats itself. Only this time, there will be no second chance. When Jesus comes, it will be like lightning. Quick, unexpected, final. And those who are not ready will be. Grace is free, but time is limited. The 12 tribes are returning. The clock is counting down. The world is distracted, but heaven is mobilized. Every movement in Israel has an eternal echo. Nothing there is by chance. It is the center of the prophetic plan, the stage of Armageddon, the place of Christ's return. And every soul that awakens now is a soul saved from judgment. Most people look at Israel and see just a small country on the map. But in the sky, Israel is the clock, and it is ticking down to the final minute. When Israel flourishes, prophecy advances. When the tribes return, the seals draw near. When Jerusalem becomes the center of attention, it is because the Messiah is coming. It is not conspiracy theory. It is the Bible. It is prophecy. It is literal. Jesus said, "Learn the parable of the fig tree. When it sprouts, you will know it is near." Israel is that fig tree. In 1948, it sprouted. In 1967, it blossomed. Now it bears fruit. The Jews are returning. The temples are being prepared. The nations are taking their stand. Everything indicates that the world is heading towards its final turning point. You can ignore it. You can postpone it. You can laugh. But none of that will stop God's plan. The Messiah will come, and he will come as a judge, as a king, as a lion, and the time of grace will end. The Spirit is still calling. There is still time. But each chapter of the story that is being fulfilled brings us closer to the final chapter, and there will be no epilogue after the rapture. This return to earth is just the beginning. Then comes the purification, then the Messiah, then the kingdom, and then the end. The big question is, are you in or are you out? Because this story is being written before everyone's eyes. But only the awakened can read what is behind the ink. Israel did not return by chance. The tribes did not return by coincidence. The world is not collapsing by chance. Every earthquake, every war, every prophetic warning is a megaphone from God saying, "Get ready. Will you ignore or will you respond? Will you mock or will you regret?" The last trumpet has not yet sounded, but its sound can already be felt in the air. If you felt this video spoke to you, don't ignore this. It's not just information. It's a calling. God is showing you that time is running out, and He wants to wake you up before it's too late. Subscribe to this channel now, not for me, but for you. Because here, we don't talk about religion. We talk about the truth that is being fulfilled before our eyes. Ring the bell, share it, and be part of those who are not sleeping, those who are preparing. If you are far from God, pray now. Repent. Come back. There is still time. But don't put off until later what can guarantee you eternity today. The return has begun, and Christ is at the door. See you in the next video. But most of all, see you in heaven.